Over $1 trillion was lost globally to scams and financial fraud in just the last 12 months. That's nearly the GDP of entire nations. Gone, stolen through manipulation, lies, and broken promises. And each year, over 30 million people fall victim to these traps. That's not just theft, it's a business model. A $1 trillion business model built on broken promises. Scams thrive in shadows. They feed on opacity. They grow where trust is blind and proof is optional. And unless we build the systems that can't lie, this cycle will only grow. Which brings us back to the Truth Protocol. Because if every transaction is visible, if every rule is public and permanent, if every payout is provable and instant, then deception doesn't just get exposed, it gets eliminated. Now here is the kicker. The world currently loses $1 trillion a year to scams, ending chronic hunger globally. Only cost about $45 billion annually. Let that comparison sink in. We lose 20 times more than letting the wrong system win than it would cost to lift every human being out of extreme poverty. The problem isn't scarcity, it's design. Everyone today feels the pressure. If you keep your money in the bank, inflation quietly eats away at it. If you don't invest, you fall behind. But when you do try to invest, suddenly you are in a minefield. In fact, over 50% of online investment opportunities today are either misleading or outright scams. That's the reality, backed by global fraud statistics. You are told to be smart with your money, but how can you be smart in a system designed to confuse you, where the lines between the real opportunity and the trap is almost invisible? This is exactly why trust can no longer be based on marketing or promises. It needs to be based on proof. On systems where traders don't have to guess who's honest, because the structure itself can't lie. Because we wired our systems for extraction, not elevation, for control and not coordination. But we know we have the tools to rewire it all. With smart contracts, with blockchain, automation, transparent code, immutable records. If you want to end poverty, if you want to stop scams, if you want a financial system that empowers instead of exploits, then we don't need to trust the gatekeepers. We need to replace them. With truth, with logic, with code. The future is waiting and it's not expensive. It's just blocked by broken systems. From investment scams to payout denials to phishing traps, every fraud relies on one thing: invisibility. No receipts, no records, because most platforms are built to protect themselves, not you. So the question is, what kind of system can't be fooled? The answer? One that doesn't ask for trust. One that shows you the truth. That's why we built FunditHive, not just to fund traders, but to prove that a better system is possible. Every payout is triggered by code. Every rule is visible and immutable. No review team, no excuses. What if the $1 trillion we lose to fraud each year become the fuel for freedom? Imagine that every dollar currently stolen through deceit, every promise broken in silence, every lost opportunity redirected toward building something real. What if instead of leaking wealth into the shadows, we turned it into light? Because the problem isn't that we don't have the resources, it's that we keep misplacing them into systems built to extract, not to empower. We are not talking about utopia. We are talking about architecture. Clear rules, immutable ledgers, open visibility. Precision logic, it's not a dream. It's a design choice. We are choosing transparency. We are choosing logic over loopholes. We are choosing code over chaos. And this is more than a platform. This is more than a protocol. This is a movement. Because the only thing more dangerous than lie is truth that exposes it.